Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the SifuThatGuy channel. This is your host and your homie SifuThatGuy here, and I hope everybody had a super cool Thanksgiving. I know I sure did try to eat a lot while keeping the calorie count low. And you know what else is low? Unfortunately, that subscriber count. That's right. If you can, please do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the video. That would do me a huge favor. I'm definitely trying to get to that 100 subscriber mark before the year is over. So if you got it in your heart during this time of the year, that would be greatly appreciated. And yo, we're talking about the ancient kingdom today, so let's get straight into it.
Hey, listen!
Whatever the past may be, as long as it's history crafted by the hands of mankind, we have the responsibility to accept it all. These are some of the last words of Professor Clover as he spoke to the Gorosei about the ancient kingdom. And like I said before, we're going to be talking about the ancient kingdom today. Before I get started, I just want to apologize. I do have something weird going on with my mouth. I had a little dental procedure done, but if we could just, try to ignore the lisp that I got going on and getting straight into it. Now, I never usually start off these kinds of videos like this, but I'm just gonna ask you guys a very important question, which is why fear the ancient kingdom? Oda's given us tidbits of things here and there, and we definitely know that the 20 kingdoms, which is now what we know as the world government, they definitely destroyed the great kingdom, the ancient kingdom, out of fear. This hasn't been explicitly stated. However, through their actions, you can definitely tell they're terrified of the ancient kingdom. Anybody who has any kind of knowledge at all about the ancient kingdom is automatically made a target in the world of One Piece. And today, with what we know so far, we're gonna figure out why. So who exactly was a part of the ancient kingdom? Well, as far as we've been told, the ancient kingdom was an advanced civilization that existed about 900 years prior to the current One Piece timeline. And we know that their technology far exceeded that of the current One Piece world, as Vegapunk is, as far as we know, the only person who has a decent amount of knowledge about the technology from the ancient kingdom. And Vegapunk, he's pretty much setting the bar when it comes to technology in the One Piece world. And even he doesn't know it all, right? I mean, through this knowledge that he has the ancient kingdom, he's been able to make inventions that people consider to be 500 years in the future. We know that in the ancient kingdom, they had some sort of undying power source to power all their technology, an eternal flame, if you will, something that the current One Piece world, people like Vegapunk, can pretty much only dream of. We know that they had technology to be able to phase through certain objects, as they showed us with the ancient warrior robot in chapters 1065 and 1066. Phasing technology, undying power sources, Oda definitely drove the point home that their technology is more advanced than the technology that we have now. We also know that the ancient kingdom was comprised of different races of humans and different species, and some of them are all but extinct today. Species like dragons. We have a reason to believe that dragons existed during the ancient kingdom. In the Monsters one-shot, Oda gives us the story of Ryuma the swordsman, in which he saves his country from a dragon. This was further made canon in the Thriller Bark arc, say that 5 times fast. Ryuma was made canon, and of course in the Wano country arc, the history of Ryuma slaying the dragon is pretty much common knowledge, so we know this happened for a fact. And of course, we don't know if Ryuma is old enough to be a part of the ancient kingdom itself, but we do know Ryuma was a part of the Shimotsuki clan, and the Shimotsuki clan were daimyo of the Kozuki clan, who were a part of the ancient kingdom. Next up on our list of fantastic beasts and where to find them is Zunisha. We know that Zunisha was around during the Void Century. For a fact, it was born about 1,000 years ago and was a companion of Joy Boy himself about 800 years ago. So yeah, Zunisha has all kinds of knowledge of the Void Century and the ancient kingdom. That's fact. That leads me next up to talk about the Minks. The Minks have been around for over 1,000 years. So that means they were definitely around for the Void Century. Of course, the Minks have a long-standing history with the Kozuki clan, and of course, they are extremely powerful, with powers like Electro and of course Sulong form that puts them on par with Yonko commanders. So yeah, the Minks, super powerful. Next on the list is giants. The giant race has been around for, as far as we know, hundreds of years in the world of One Piece. Yo, a giant's lifespan can easily be 3, 4, even 5 times that of a regular human's lifespan. We know that the village elders in Elbaf during Big Mom's flashback were about 350 years old, and that was 50 years ago. So it's pretty safe to say that giants definitely were around during the Ancient Kingdom, and even if they're not old enough to live through the Ancient Kingdom, they would only be about 1 or 2 generations removed from the events that took place during the Void Century. On top of that, there were ancient giants who are even more powerful and way bigger. Ors, the continent puller, he was an ancient giant. He was born about 500 years prior to the current storyline. So it's quite possible that him and his ancestors existed during the time of the Void Century, the time of the Ancient Kingdom, and at the very least during the war between the Ancient Kingdom and the 20 Kingdoms. And Oda's even giving us relics like the giant straw hat in the bottom of Pangaea Castle, and of course the giant jaguar D Saw being a member of the D clan. Oda is definitely hinting at giants being super important in the story to come. Next on our list are the Lunarians. The Lunarians are a winged, fire-wielding, indestructible humanoid people who lived on top of the Red Line prior to the forming of the world government and Mary Joa. And to be honest, that is a dead giveaway that they were a part of the Ancient Kingdom. Mary Joa and the world government was formed about 800 years ago. That means prior to that, the Lunarians were thriving on top of the Red Line, and they were known as gods well before the Celestial Dragon. So there's definitely a reason to believe that the Lunarian tribe might have been the very first enemy of the 20 Kingdoms. Next up on our list are the Fishmen. We actually know a lot about the Fishmen. We know that they're stronger than the average human. We know that they can live and breathe in water, and in most situations communicate with sea life, with the exception of the Sea Kings, in which only the ancient weapon Poseidon can communicate with them. However, we know that the Fishmen existed during the Ancient Kingdom due to Joy Boy's poneglyph apologizing to who was then the Mermaid Princess and promising to use the Ark to take the Fishmen to the surface. We know that Joy Boy existed during the period of the Void Century, but what's even more interesting is what was recently revealed in our most recent chapter of 1067 is that Fishmen were not always discriminated against. So therefore, there might be a point in history where Fishmen actually lived on the surface amongst everybody else, and it shouldn't be surprising if they lived in the Ancient Kingdom, which seems to be a place where all races and species were accepted. Next on our list of Ancient Kingdom citizens are Sky Islanders. Sky Islanders are people that live on the Sky Islands: Skypiea, Shandora, Burka, Angel Island, Upper Yard. All of these places are a part of the Sky Islands, and of course we know that Shandora existed on Jaya about 1100 years ago. This would have been well in the middle of the Void Century and a time where the Ancient Kingdom was thriving, of course. Shandora itself is considered to be the city of gold in World of One Piece. Into Upper Yard 1100 years ago tells us that Upper Yard in fact existed 1100 years ago. Therefore, Sky Islands and their inhabitants existed as far back as the Void Century. Our next set of people on this list need no introduction, and that is the Kozuki clan. The Kozuki clan we know existed during this time because they were the ones instructed to record the history on the indestructible poneglyphs. The information on how to write and read the poneglyphs was passed down through the generations of Kozuki clan members. And I want to just give a quick honorable mention to the Three-Eyed tribe. We don't know if they were a part of the Ancient Kingdom or the Void Century. However, as a super rare race in the world world of One Piece, I would like to think that it's pretty strong possibility that they could have been. They have an ability to awaken their third eye and read the poneglyphs, and why anybody would know this if they haven't been doing it for hundreds of years doesn't make any sense to me. We know that Roger himself did not have a person of the Three-Eyed Tribe on his crew to read the poneglyphs. He had somebody from the Kozuki clan, and that was Odin. So how does anybody know that these people can decipher the poneglyphs? Just something to think about. So now that we've given you a picture of exactly who we're dealing with, now we have to ask the question, why are they so powerful? And to be honest, that was pretty self-explanatory in the past 10 minutes of me rambling. I mean, just imagine you've got a place where Lunarians, giants, ancient giants, fishmen, Sky Islanders, Kozuki clan members, possibly as strong as Odin, and minks riding on top of Zunisha, all are just roaming around, getting along like there's just no freaking care in the world. And I can imagine if you're not a part of the ancient kingdom, it could be pretty scary. But on top of that, we have the ancient weapon. Let's begin with the Pluton. We know that the Pluton was a battleship with the ability to destroy islands. It has island busting potential. This is a weapon that is so powerful that the world government commissioned CP9 to eliminate Tom for just having the information on how to remake the Pluton. And we know that it was constructed during the Void Century in Water 7. So yeah, quite possible that the ancient kingdom had the Pluton. And of course, we're well familiar with Poseidon, the ancient weapon that can control the Sea Kings, and of course this ability is passed down through the line of the Mermaid Princess and currently resides in Princess Shirahoshi. The ability to control the Sea Kings is the ability to control the seas in the One Piece world. We know that in the world of One Piece, water is key. Everybody's lives depends on what they can do around the sea. Places like the Grand Line were considered at one point to be impossible to sail through because of the existence of the Sea Kings, and Sea Kings are concentrated around the Grand Line. Now, just imagine those Sea Kings ready to be at the beck and call of a whiny, crying mermaid princess, and that's the situation we have ourselves in today. And Uranus, we don't know anything about that yet. We do know that it was an ancient weapon, so it had to have been around during the Void Century, but if you've seen what I've seen, hint hint, Emu, the Lucia Kingdom, I'm just saying, if you know, you know. The next thing I want to talk about on our list is, of course, the D Clan. And we know the D Clan existed during the Void Century because Joy Boy was a part of the Void Century, and this initial has been passed down through the D Clan members all the way up until the present day. Our most prominent and profound characters in the story are members of the D Clan, and they've shown that they can be both good and evil. They're also on both sides of the struggle between the world government and the free people. They're Marine members, pirates, revolutionaries, and giants, all associated with the D Clan. And on top of that, they have a close history with the Kozuki clan, the minks, the fishmen, and animals like Zunisha. This gives us reason to believe that all the races mentioned in the video so far have some sort of association, and if not, they were under direct command of the D Clan, making the D Clan a direct enemy of the 20 kingdoms that eventually went to war with the ancient kingdom. Corazon told us during Law's flashback that the people who have the initial D are known as direct enemies of the gods in this case being the celestial dragon, who are the leaders of the 20 kingdoms. Which lastly, this leads me to touch on the war between the ancient kingdom and the 20 kingdoms. And while we don't know much, it's sort of been hinted at, and Oda's been alluding that the 20 kingdoms used some sort of underhanded tactics to beat the ancient kingdom. They were just way too powerful, way too hacked, way too overpowered for them to lose in a fair fight. And it's out of fear of people having knowledge of the ancient kingdom why the world government acts the way that they do. They made Nico Robin cabin into a fugitive as a child. They did the same thing with King for just being a part of the Lunarian race, and they even offer a reward for just having information about King. Our most obvious illustration of this is the O'Hara incident. They completely called O'Hara off the face of the map because they had knowledge of the ancient kingdom. So the world government will stop at nothing to keep those secrets secret. But let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Who do you think was a part of the ancient kingdom, and why were they so powerful? I mean, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory as to why the world government is so afraid of them, but let me know what you think. Of course, make sure you drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. I know this was lengthier, but thank you for sticking around. This has been your homie SifuThatGuy speaking. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.